My name's Lisa Riggiola. I live at 32 Colfax Avenue in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. Mayor, Council, I know what it feels like to sit in your seat because I served as a councilwoman in Pompton Lakes. And I know what it's like to be here because I'm the executive director of a group called Citizens for Clean Pompton Lakes. I recommend that you do go see Lois Gibbs. Lois has been to Pompton Lakes. She was nominated multiple times for the Nobel Peace Prize. She's a Goldman Prize winner, and she's the winner of the Environmental Heinz Award. The reason why Superfund exists today is because of Miss Gibbs and her fight for Love Canal. She was able to get 950 families bought out of Love Canal by President Jimmy Carter. And the reason why I'm going into Love Canal is because you need to know that a lot of that was capped. And in 2011, it is now known to be recontaminated. Living in Pompton Lakes, I live in the you've probably seen the news, the DuPont contamination. 30 years, we have about 128 wells, core test wells. They go down, they test. If Mr. Menderes said what is true, groundwater, contaminated groundwater is death. And it's been the death of 500 families in my neighborhood, which is a third of the community. Attorney Bucco, you and I have met in the past, and I think you're familiar with Pompton Lakes. So you know what I'm talking about and what we're doing. NJDEP, a joke. We're under RCRA. Thank you. We're under RCRA, which is the Resource Recovery Act. We're fighting like hell to get Superfund. EPA has gotten more involved with us because we, the residents, went to our congressmen, went to our federal senators, Senator Lautenberg, rest in peace, Senator Menendez, Congressman Pascrell. These people helped us get the EPA more involved. I'm telling you that capping may not be the answer, and you need to get the evidence. You need to know everything that you've been exposed to, because you can't remediate correctly unless you know. You really can't. So I ask you now, save your children in the future. That's what I'm fighting for. I gave up my political career to fight and to volunteer my time for 6 years now. And I may have good news to announce soon. From my end, I dedicated my life to this. Save these people. Save their children. Save their grandchildren's children. Get a lawyer. Go up against the NJDEP. There's really good lawyers out of Jersey City. The city of Jersey City went up against Honeywell and won. They won. Look it up. Jersey City versus Honeywell. You can win this. Go against the state. Do it. Do it for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the public wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Kathy Hart. I live at 12 Summit Lane in Succothana. I'd like to give you my perspective on Fenmore and why I believe that trucking it out is the only option. I'm someone who grew up in Pompton Lakes, so I thank Lisa very much for coming here and supporting me. It's a beautiful little town. It was a very tight-knit community. It was a great place to grow up in until it got contaminated by the DuPont chemical plant. Unfortunately, after the contamination, residents started getting sick. That's what we noticed first. Now, my community, the street that I grew up on, I knew all my neighbors. And in my mind, to this day, I can visualize each house. And there are very few houses on the block that I grew up on where at least one family member hadn't had some form of cancer. My own father died from pancreatic cancer. So I know that this idea of capping is not going to work. It's just postponing an inevitable disaster. My brother happened to be the mayor of Pompton Lakes in 1987, and he discovered documents locked in a file cabinet in the Borough Hall, and it showed that the state DEP and DuPont had been discussing the contamination of groundwater by solvents, by toxic solvents, for several years, the extent of which they never shared with the residents. So I have zero trust in the DEP. I believe they know a lot more than they're telling us, and we need to find out what they know. At that point, he was able to get the first public hearings about the contamination. Outraged borough officials and residents pressured the New Jersey DEP to broaden the scope of testing, which helped uncover evidence that the pollution had spread much farther than had been previously been released into nearby neighborhoods. It poisoned wells, contaminated yards, and threatened the health of residents. The similarities between Pompton Lakes and Roxbury are startling and disturbing. For me, I think of the Yogi Bear saying it's deja vu all over again. To see another community faced with an environmental disaster that the DEP, in our instance, caused and now refuses to help us and do the right thing and clean it up and get it out of here. So I believe that it's your duty as our elected officials to stand up to them and to protect this community that we are all fighting to protect and that we all love. I therefore request that you take the following actions. Take whatever steps are necessary to get the soil samples. Don't simply just accept that you lost the first round and roll over and let them do whatever they want. I believe they know what's there, and I believe that's why they're fighting us so hard to keep us from finding it out. And when somebody fights you to get information, you have to believe that that's not something that is good news for them or that's beneficial for them. The second thing I would like to do is I would like to send letters to every household in the town informing the residents about the dangers that we're facing with this landfill. I have talked to a lot of members of my friends and people I know in the community, and most people have said to me, well, if it was that big of a deal, you know, the mayor and the council would be informing us. They'd be out there. They would see more from you, and they see nothing from you. They see it from citizens, but not from you. We know that the debris that was dumped here is in violation of the DEP's own regulations, and it's causing the toxic hydrogen sulfide gas infiltrating our community. That's my last page. I'm asking you to fight the DEP until all of this is trucked out of here. As a result of what happened to my hometown of Pompton Lakes, I've become an environmentalist. There is a Native American ecological concept called seven generation sustainability. It encourages current generations of humans to live sustainably and work for the benefit of the seventh generation in the future. I'm asking all of you not to be short-sighted. Burying this will only result in much greater harm in the future, in the years to come. I'm asking you to think of the children of this community. On Sunday, I was at Horseshoe Lake with my grandson. Saw the children playing down there, and he walked down there. These are the people that you're burying this. These are the people that are going to affect it. And I don't know how, honestly, how that doesn't weigh on your conscience. Walk through the schools, look at these kids. This is a serious concern. So I ask you to do that in the name of the community. Think of the children of the community. This is your legacy to the town. Your names are on this, whether you want it or not. This is what you do or what you fail to do is your legacy to this town. I ask you to stop being good soldiers for Governor Christie and the New Jersey DEP and be the generals we need to lead this fight. The future health and safety of this community demands no less.
Thank you. Kathy, just one quick question. What was the nature of the contamination in Pompton Lakes? I'd like to know how you...
DuPont chemical plant, there were solvents, toxic solvents that they dumped into there
Okay.
into the stream.
I didn't hear about that. All right, thank you.
It's been, and that has been going on for 2 generations.
Okay, thank you.
Victor Dean, Main Street, Ledgewood. I got a little something to say. You find something funny here?
No, I was.
Then pay attention.